Hi, this is Zach here with the US Chartbreakers here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Tuesday, the 5th of August. Starting off with the S&P, which fell out of the narrow black channel there that was based around the 6330 level. And actually, we could argue now that we're in a wider channel, as shown by the red support line there, and also backed by the 50-day moving average of 6139. What was interesting about yesterday's price action is that we basically had a gap close buy signal above the top of the gap there around 63.27, and above that we're looking for a recovery of sorts, maybe back towards 6400. Best case is obviously up to the top of the channel there, as high as 6600, but maybe that might have to wait for the end of next month. The other positives are that we bounced well above the rising 50-day line, and also had an RSI 50 rebound. So the market opening at the low, closing at the high, also gives a positive spin. So hopefully there'll be at least some follow through on the upside after yesterday's setup. Moving along to the situation at the Nasdaq, and here we've got a setup where not too dissimilar to the situation at the S&P. The difference here is that we've had the market basically in a wider channel anyway, even before this, so that does help. Support recently around 22,600, and while we're above that, looking for the top of the channel there towards 23,900 by the end of this month. Another gap close buy signal there. Moving along to different charts and different stocks, rather. AtlasClear, the first one. And here we've been watching the situation, a little bit volatile, as you can see. The key here is staying above the July resistance around the $21.50 area, and hoping that that will stay in place over the near term. The other point to note is that we've got a rising 50-day moving average now, which is normally a very positive signal, and we've got the RSI back above neutral 50, so above the recent resistance zone. We're looking for around the 21.50 area, looking for at least a retest of the $30 area from last week. Best case is up to as high as $42 by the end of this month. Moving along to a stock which we covered quite recently, and takes the form of AgEagle, and here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel base. We've had a gap close buy signal as well yesterday, which is obviously helpful, and bounce off the floor of that rising trend channel from April. Top of the channel here as high as $4, and we're looking for that as soon as the end of this month, while we remain above the 200-day moving average, and the gap and the price channel floor at $2.20. Next on the list is a stock which is called Atlas Lithium, and here potential rising trend channel base with gap towards the 200-day line. Like to see an end of day close back above it, say $5.70 and above, and that would take us hopefully to $7.50 by the end of this month. Upside value while we're above yesterday's, basically most of yesterday's range, around $5. And you can see that there's been an RSI 50 rebound as well. So looking encouraging, as well as, or in addition to, the way that presumably the bears were being caught rather short with yesterday's rebound. Moving on to another situation, which hopefully will keep on moving. We've got BioXel, rather, and here you can see that the shares are rushing towards the top of that rising trend channel base at $3.50. We're looking for that while we remain on the right side of recent resistance, $2.20 on an end of day close basis. 50-day line rising, and you've had a bear trap rebound from below the June support there for the end of July, also helping the chart look good. BT Brands is next, and here the situation is that we've got the shares having spiked through the top of that broadening triangle from April last year, rather extended formation. The top of the triangle there around $3.36. That's our target at the moment. while we remain above the midpoint of yesterday's range around the $2.40 area. Moving along to something which may be not quite so volatile, but here we got CSI or CASI Pharmaceuticals. The situation here is that we spiked up towards the top of the rising trend channel base. That's what we're still looking for, around the $2.50 area as a target. In coming days, maybe we can stretch up to the 200-day line near $2.70, but upside valid here while we're above recent broken resistance around $1.77 on an end-of-day close basis. Coming up with the stock, which is probably the most encouraging one at the moment, which is health and tech. And here we've got this steady rise within a rising trend channel from April. Top of the channel there, heading towards $4, rather $3.20. We're looking at that in coming days, while we're above a recent resistance at $2.20 on an end-of-day close basis. So the sizzle here, last week's unfilled gap to the upside, that has driven the shares to new near-term highs. Lichen is next, and here, obviously, we're trying to recover from the big hit the shares have taken previously, but we've got July neckline resistance there at $4.90, and above that, looking for the top of the range and the top of that channel from back in April, as high as $9 by the end of the month. Moving along the list to optical cable, and here, second gap in the recent past. The first one was the beginning of July. Now we've got another gap high, which is looking pretty impressive. Recent resistance around the $5.40 level, and above that on an end-of-day close basis, looking for $8 by the end of this month. 50 and 200-day lines rising nicely. RSI 50 rebound as well. So looking pretty decent on that situation. Plus Therapeutics is next on the list, and here we've got what I call a V-shaped bull flag breakout through recent resistance around $71, and above that, looking at the top of the channel as high as $125, perhaps by the end of next month, hopefully a bit sooner than that. But we've had two RSI 50, well, two rebounds for the RSI above neutral 50. So really, the share should be able to get to that appointed target above $120 by the end of this month rather than next month. On to the last two. The first one is Verb Technology, and here, massive spike to the upside, top of the channel here towards the $30 area. We're looking for that by the end of this month, especially while we can remain above recent broken resistance at the $17.60 level. So above that, hopefully $35 plus is on the cards. That's it for me today. More updates tomorrow.